Hello, my friends. How are you? Are you having a great week, friends and family? I hope so. Well, I am en route, so hopefully we'll have a great connection and a great time. This is Radiant Rap, and I am Shannon. It's Thursday, it's 5 p.m., so I thought we'd have a little rap session. This is part four of International Women's Month. Shout out to all the women. We've been having a good time. Last week, Mommy was here, aka Beatrice Ray, and Sissy, aka Dawn Moss. That was a good time. And we started out with Sadari the first week, who is a financial advisor and author. That was great. And basically, each week we talked about, no, I'm not driving. Kevin's driving. Each week we talked about women supporting women, women supporting women. And when I thought about, okay, there are so many things we've accomplished, but so many things that we still can do better. And supporting one another, I think, is a huge one. And so today I thought, well, why don't we talk about the challenges and failures? Because and that's been something even recently, just on close to my heart, right? Because there's always challenges, there's always failures, and we can't avoid it. Um, when I look back and I think over, my life, a couple of things that came to mind or come to mind right off the bat is screwing up, big epic failure when I must have been like four. I was probably four or five maybe at the max. And I went to my Aunt Shirley's, who lived 3 or 4 houses away from me, but I didn't tell anybody I was going. Epic failure. And so, yeah, I really screwed that up. And I got in trouble for that. And I was sent to my room. And, I still remember this. It was, that big of a deal. I was sent to my room, and for some reason, I don't know why, but there was this really deep closet in my room. And when I heard my dad coming down the hall, I just went into the closet. So he comes into the room, and I'm supposed to be there, and he can't find me there. And he calls me, and I don't answer, at least not right away. So then I'm in more trouble. What the heck? Right? Epic failure. So I end up in the corner of the living room, which was okay that I end up in the corner of the living room. We had to go to the corner and your face is up against the wall. And so that was fine, except there was company that came over. And then I had to, at least in my 4 or 5 year old mind, outsmart everyone and pretend I'm not in this corner because I have to be. I'm in the corner because I choose to be. And I don't know, I was talking, and it was probably very entertaining for the people that were there. And then in the end, I had to come out of the corner and tell everyone why I was in the corner. So, anyways, that was 5 years old. When I was a teenager, epic failure, one of the many. Um, some of you may remember this. We cut school one day. Yeah, we're going to cut school. No, we're not. Not only are we going to cut school, we're cutting school and we're staying at my house. And this is in Sicklerville. And so if you were there, do you remember this? Not only are we cutting school and staying at my house, because it's like a bunch of us, we are going to cook up our food. So we were cooking pancakes and bacon. I mean, what the heck? Epic failure. Okay, well, my dad and his detective sleuth instincts, something told him to come home. And literally, people were jumping out of windows and doors. And yeah, if you were there and you hear this, yeah, just put it in the chat. If you're listening to the recording or live, let me know. Because I don't remember everyone that was there. But that was big trouble. Um, Later on in life with, my husband and just not knowing how to fight fair, just some of the things that I would say, just mean, epic failure, just fail. Or when I had 3 kids and I'm trying to get us all ready for in the morning, get them ready for school, and yelling and just crazy mom. And then one day I realized that, you know what, you're driving everybody crazy. The kids are stressed out. I'm sure your husband's not appreciating that you're just yelling every morning before the kids go off to school. And so, yeah, epic fail. And then, but each time, learning, growing. And then most recently, so all of these failures are not, these failures are failures of my own doing, right? And so I had one last week. I do virtual contracts, and I forgot to write down a very important event. It was classes that I was subbing for, so not my normal schedule, but I had agreed to do them, didn't have them on my calendar, and it's a really big deal because these classes have hundreds of people in them. And yeah, I missed it. And so, and I don't like messing up. I don't like making mistakes. I don't like being the problem, somebody else's problem, like creating problems. Like I want to be a perfectionist. That's a problem, right there. Some people, are just don't care. So either one is both ways. It's not good. If you're complacent and don't care, or if you are a perfectionist. I mean, we have to come in the middle. So I said, okay, well, these are a couple of things that I want to share. First of all, I found a quote that Oprah said. She said, "Think like a queen. She isn't afraid to fail. Failure is another stepping stone to greatness." So whether it's in your personal, development, or something that you were trying to accomplish, a job, a marriage, I don't know, different goals that you have. I love that quote from Oprah. But in each instance, we have to understand that failing and challenges are just part of the plan. It's part of the plan. It's a part of life. You can't get around it. So we have to just be okay with that. And number two, I think that we should pray about everything, like before the failure, during the failure, and after the failure. Just keep praying. Pray for solutions, how to resolve things, what to say, when to say, how to say, what to do, when to move, all of that. So pray about everything. Understand it's part of the plan. Pray about whatever actions we're going to do. We don't always do that. I know I don't always do it. And sometimes that's what makes me end up in a mess. Like last week, I obviously forgot something. And fortunately, I did have grace in that situation, because I could have I don't know. I could have lost a contract, you know. It could have been, or my husband, who, you know, he's very thorough about everything. When I said it to him, he didn't like, well, what the heck, you know. He didn't like kick me while I was down. You know what I mean? Make me feel worse. Thank you for that. So three is though, however, to permit feedback. So gives people permission, not everyone, but do give people permission to give you feedback. So you don't want to just be defensive all the time. Like I screwed up last week. So, you know, I had to be humble, be gracious, listen to what other people had to say. I was, like I said, very fortunate in that situation. But in all of the situations where, you know, I really messed up, um, I, you know, you have to be willing to and give people the permission to just be quiet, just not always be defensive. And that was not always my go-to because I hate being wrong. So it's something I still work on, but that is in when we do have these challenges and when we fail, right? Giving someone else permission to call us out on our stuff, or, you know, to help us. If we're not open to that, then and if we're always defensive, or we just feel like we're beyond making mistakes and it's always somebody else's fault, we need to rethink that. If that message keeps coming to you over and over, or if nobody in your circle, they're afraid to give you feedback. I mean, if you don't welcome feedback, that's a problem, sis. And then number four, pass it on. So when and persevere. And when I say pass it on, I mean not one thing that I noticed that we're doing, especially in social media land, is that we're all only showing our best self. Like, and I get it, but we still have to have a genuine circle of being real. Other people need to see that we, you know, we're not perfect, that we mess up, you know, because then it'll give them permission to also be vulnerable and not always feel like they have to look perfect, act perfect, not mess up ever. That's how we can support one another. And when we do that, then we are supporting. We can have empathy for other women when they screw up, as opposed to having a party, you know, as opposed to celebrating and excited for when another sister or brother falls, right? Okay, so those are the things that I feel like with our challenges, with our failure, we have to understand one is part of the plan. It's just a part of life. And Cicely Tyson, I liked her quote. She said, "Challenges make you discover things about yourself you never knew." Because you're either gonna, what choices do you have? You're gonna learn from it, grow from it, or not. And so it's an opportunity for us to grow. So understand it's part of the plan. Pray, 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 pray. Before the mistakes, before the challenges, before the failures, pray. And during the failures, pray. After the failures, pray. Pray what? Pray about, meditate on, pray on what to do, what to say, when to say, uh, who to talk to, who to listen to, so that we can grow. And then permit that feedback. Give the permission to other people to call us out on our stuff. Not being so defensive, not being so close. We don't want to hear it. We don't want to hear it. And I wasn't even going to share it. Did I write that one down? No, I didn't write it down. I saw something, and I'm not sure whose quote this was, but I saw something that said, um, we don't we don't want people to see us cry because then we don't appear to be strong, right? Women. But I'm paraphrasing, obviously. But then we get upset when no one understands that we're suffering and we're broken and we're hurt and they don't support us. So we have to be real. And so that's the last one. If we pass on when we do make mistakes, and a lot of times, yeah, we wait till we're on the other side, and and I get it, because some things that you're going through is just so difficult, and you just got to put one foot in front of the other. I get it. But when you're able to pass it on and just keep persevering, keep on, keeping on, keep on keeping on. Nobody has said anything today. I don't know why. I hope you can hear me. Oh, and then I don't know. I probably heard this before, but this was like a Shannon quote. With each failure, there is a lesson to learn and an opportunity to do better. So my lesson from last week is double, triple, because I think I have things that I have all these systems in place, but I let it slip. I let it slip. So, I had to give myself grace. If you're like me, I could beat myself. I mean, I felt so bad. I could just throw up. Like, I felt so, I still even talking about it now. I'm not over it yet because it just happened last week. But I hate messing up. But I said, okay, look, that's ego. You're human. You're going to screw up. So get over it. So I made the decision to give myself grace. I asked for forgiveness. So I took the steps, not just give myself grace, but I owed up to what I did wrong, and listen to what I need to do better. So was open to hearing what was said, and even in my own systems, just tighten it up again. You just letting it slip a little, and even though my emotions aren't already there, that was a lesson I learned recently, kind of in another topic, but similar. And the lesson was, it was about forgiveness. And this was Minister Claudette. We were talking about in a morning devotion, forgiveness, and not forgiving because you still have the emotions. And I'm going off subject, but I gotta say this. I never understood before. I always thought that, okay, I made a decision to forgive, but because if I still had the emotional, like my blood pressure boiled when I thought about this person or the situation, then I really hadn't forgiven. And she taught us, no, you've made the decision to forgive, but your emotions just haven't caught up yet. So in the same way, I'm forgiving myself for screwing up last week. I have made the decision to forgive myself, but I still get emotional behind it. It makes me sick. But yeah, those were the points that I wanted to make as far as challenge and failure. Because it's not always somebody else's fault. Sometimes it's our own. Sometimes it's other people's, but we can still learn from it. Yeah. Y'all saying anything to me today? Okay, so maybe on the replay, you'll have a comment, and I'd love to hear your feedback. Maybe you are open to sharing one of your failures or discussing one of those points. Failure being part of the plan is a part of life. Challenge being a part of the plan is a part of life. Praying Pray, pray, pray before you screw up, during the screw up, after you screw up, and then permitting feedback, for giving people permission to tell you the truth about your stank self. I'm talking about me. And then pass it on. So share some of, your failures so other people can learn about it, and then just keep going, persevere. Listen, I love you. Honey, you got anything to share? Okay, you said no. No. You don't have none. All right. I love you. Yeah, nothing you can do about that, for sure. And you have greatness inside of you, and so do I. Even, we're a masterpiece and a work in progress at the same time. Yeah. So here I am on the road, headed back to Florida. Peace. Hey, Denise. Thank you for loving me back. Bye for now.